Welcome back, everyone. Going into the second half here of Roleplay Court of Swords. Adam, what's going on?
So, Max, I sent you or I put in your journal your new goals, and I just copied and pasted how possession works so you can see the mechanisms of it. So hang on to that. Take a minute to study it. Think about how you want to go into your next big performance.
Nice.
Meanwhile, Maharib, do you stay in the? Now remember, when you were arriving, there was a storm a brewing. Do you stay at the fortress with the Embers of Imix, or do you leave?
I think at the end of last episode, I said that I would stay.
Yes.
So yeah, I stay.
Okay. All right.
At least for the night, for the storm to clear. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you want to do anything while you're here? Awut and I think her name was Vani. They give you lots of room. Basically, like Awut has a lesser acolyte put together a room for you. It's simple, right? It's just like a bed, basically, and like maybe a chest to put your stuff in. And he tells you can stay as long as you need to. But if you have to leave, he understands. And then they leave you alone, right? They're basically just like, here you go, rest up. If you need food, there is a central, like a kitchen and like a hall where people go and like take turns making food and stuff.
Okay.
But I guess my question is, like, does Maharib rest, or do you wander around a little bit in the fortress first?
I think after the journey there, and also the fact that I was, ingesting whatever the fuck I ingested, this magical bean thing, I'm probably pretty exhausted. So I think as soon as they show me to the room and kind of say, let us know if you need anything, shut the door, I just pass out pretty quickly. With the intention of, I still want to see what's going on in the rest of this camp, but I'm just too exhausted after the journey here.
Okay. So you get, and it's hard to tell, like, because there's no clocks or whatever, but you don't get a full night's sleep. You're interrupted partway through your rest. There is a knock on the door, and it's a bit of a timid knock. It's like the knock of someone who, like, when somebody really needs you to wake the fuck up right now, it's an emergency. It's like bang, 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 really fast. This is like quiet enough. This person is clearly not putting their full force behind it. And maybe they're still in the process of doing it, rethinking whether they should wake you up or not, right? Where they're just like, okay, I'm going to do it. And they just tap, tap, tap on the door.
Okay. Being in the void for so long, I think I sleep very light right now. I just kind of trained myself to sleep very lightly. So yeah, I wake up and immediately, probably somehow subconsciously, my hand was near the axe, and I wake up with it on the axe, and like stare at the door. But I don't respond immediately. Like, I see if anyone's going to peek their head in. It's more of a, oh God, I'm about to be attacked, rather than, oh, there's a late night visitor type response.
Right. Yeah. So it's more a case of you just like feeling paranoid and like worried. Yeah. Okay. So there's a long pause, and then no second knock. Nobody, like, there's no more.
Okay. After an amount of time, several seconds or so, and no one like burst through the door with a weapon thrown at me or something like that.
Yeah.
I'll get up and open the door and poke my head out to see if I see anyone walking away.
Yes, you do. So you see her. She's a little further down the hallway. She clearly came up, knocked on the door, and then was like, he's sleeping, I'm gonna leave. So she started walking away. It is the shaman, the fire priestess that you saw before. It's Vani. She is not wearing her like ceremonial garb that she was before. Now, because it's night and there's a storm and it's like actually quite cold in here now. She has a like a goat skin, like a cloak or something, like wrapped around her shoulders. Her hair is down. She's still wearing bare feet, despite the fact that it's like stone floors. But yeah, when you peer out, that's what you see.
Okay. I'll speak up before she like turns a corner or something out of sight or out of earshot. Did you need something? I say that and I look back down at the ground when she stops and probably turns around.
Stops and she turns around and she smiles and she says, oh, you're still awake. Good. And she comes, she starts walking back towards you. And she says, I didn't wake you, did I?
It doesn't matter. What can I help you? Is there something you need help with? Is everything okay?
That's a lot of questions all at once. Which one should I answer first?
Do you need something?
Doesn't everyone?
I think there is a long pause, and he looks back and says, what was your name? I'm sorry.
She shakes her head. It's fine. We barely spoke. Vani.
Yes, Vani, I apologize. Yeah. Excuse my brashness. I was not... It's been a long time since I've been used to a normal, polite conversation. I apologize.
You've apologized twice and excused yourself once. You're a lot less brash than you think you are. She looks around. Hard to find cultured company around here these days. I just thought you were in such a hurry to leave and we hadn't really had a chance to talk. Maybe you might still be awake and maybe you would like to join me for a walk.
Sure, yes. I'd like to see the grounds of this place. It's been some time. I'd like to see what's changed.
And she kind of squints at you because the last time you were here was like less than a week ago.
Yeah.
Right? Like for her, like, I can't wait to see what's changed. Sir, you were in this Denny's last night. It's the same Denny's, sir.
Yeah.
So yeah, she kind of like cocks an eyebrow. You like, okay.
Give me 1 second. Let me just collect my things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I walk back in the room, shut the door, and I don't fully put on my armor, but I bring the weapons. Like I put Bahath on my back and the axe at my side.
Mm-hmm.
And probably the shield just in case, but I leave the plate armor and everything here.
So when you come back out with all these like weapons, she kind of looks you up and down and she says, are you trying to tell me something? Am I coming on too strong? What?
Oh,
there's
the
really
weapons.
No need.
Right.
Nods.
I'll feel safer with them on me. It's nothing to do with you or anyone else here.
You can see she's like she's thinking about asking you something, but then she doesn't. She's just like, all right, okay.
Yeah. Where should we start?
She shrugs. She says, let's go down to the vents. It's warmer down there.
Great. After you.
The two of you just start walking, and it's like a very like her pace, unless you like speed up to try to get her to go faster. Her pace is very slow. Like she's just kind of strolling casually. Most of the people in this like temple fortress thing are asleep. Right? Everybody's already sleeping. You pass one or two people. And I think the thing is up here, everybody is wearing like they're all wearing clothes. It's not like a cult in the sense that everybody's wearing the same robes and they're all like face tattoos of fire or whatever. It's a community. It's like a little village that happens to live inside a temple to Imix, Lord of Flame, who also is their patron. But everybody's dressed like differently, right? And they're all dressed in like mostly, I guess it would be like wool and like sheep and goat skin. Probably not reeds because they live up in the mountains. It'd be pretty similar to the way that your people would dress. Slightly different things they would make the clothes out of, but pretty much like a similar thing. You have the same access to that stuff.
Sure.
And so you pass a couple of people. Bunny gets nods or bows, depending on the people. You get like looks, and they're looks that are familiar to you. It is the look of somebody who doesn't know you, but who like recognizes you. Right? You get that like, oh, and maybe there's some whispering after you pass, where you hear somebody, and I think this happens. You pass another couple of people walking by, two like young men, and as you walk by them, before they even get far enough away to be out of earshot, one whispers to the other, "Is that Maharib?" And the other's like, "Shh, quiet, like shut up, you're gonna embarrass us." And they go around the corner, and Vani nudges you with her elbow. And when you look over, she's grinning at you, and she says, "You're a little famous around here, more so maybe even than me. And if I were the jealous type, that would bother me, but everyone's excited that you're here."
I've considered myself an outsider here, but I guess not.
She shakes her head. "Why would you think that?" You gestures kind of back in the direction of the entrance. You overcame the challenge. You passed the test. You may not feel like it, but you're one of us. There's a place for you here.
There may be a place for me here, but I'm not from here. It's more to do with me than it is this place or these people. Surely you understand.
I'm not sure that I do. I was born in the Court of Cups. Traveled here. Took me a long time. Most of my life to find this family. Do you think that I don't belong here because it's not where I'm from?
Suppose we belong where we want to belong at the end of the day.
Well, if that were the case, I belong in the top of a beautiful tower full of gold and pomegranates. Have you ever had a pomegranate? They're delicious. No, I think we make some choices about who we consider our people. It's easy to think of your mother or your father, your family as the people you're stuck with, but she gestures around. I think you can find alternatives.
Perhaps. Is there been much movement here? Are they recruiting? Seems to be. Does it look like there's more people here than 10 days ago?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like however amount of time. You're still all confused. She says, a fire once fed spreads fast. You helped do that. I haven't seen Awut this passionate about anything in a long time. I've been having more visions too.
That's good.
Makes it hard to
take
sleep.
it.
She chuckles. Makes it hard to sleep, but that's my calling. I hear the voice in the flames. I hear how Imix's desires are made manifest, sometimes in dreams, and sometimes she looks around. Sometimes they'll find me standing, staring into a torch. I'll have been there for an hour or longer. It's kind of embarrassing. I can mostly control it, but Aoud calls it enrapturement, which is a real long-winded way of saying I get distracted.
This is going to sound weird, but maybe it won't. Have you seen or had any visions of a large serpent of sorts?
You can see her kind of like thinking and like pondering over it. I don't know. But sometimes I don't remember the things that I see or the conversations I have. Like the one that you had with whatever aspect I was channeling earlier. I only remember bits and pieces. And this lingering sensation of, I'm sure it's nothing. She like looks away.
Is everything all right? You were
She
channeling
turns back
quite
and you
a
notice
god.
she turns back and looks at you. You notice she's blushing a little bit. And she says, yes, yeah, everything's fine. It's just a little, It's a product of what I do, channeling the spirits. Sometimes the way that they think and feel, there are leftovers. And whatever I was channeling earlier today, very fond of you.
Really?
And then she like looks away from you, like she's like, this is embarrassing. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Marharib is clueless, so I did not think she was that. Is that normal for this fondness you're saying to occur from a god to a mortal?
She nods, and she says, before I found my way here to the embers, I was channeling something, some kind of spirit. I never did figure out what it was, but the things that it felt, the things that it wanted, I got to a point where I couldn't tell if it was my own desire or something else. I've learned to control it mostly since, but sometimes there's bleed. It's not dangerous. It's just if Imix is angry with someone, I get angry at them too. I recognize when the feelings are mine and when they're not, mostly. But
you've channeled Imix before? This is a normal occurrence?
She nods. Of course. It's why I'm here. Primordials aren't like the other gods. They have to put on costumes to engage with us. Sometimes that's manifestation, but mostly the costume is someone like me, a medium. I speak for the sleeping gods. Imix in particular. My connection with him is very strong.
Interesting. Let us continue. And I kind of like motion towards the vents, I think, because we haven't quite made it there
so
yet.
She leads you to a stairwell, like the one you went to before, a stairwell that leads down. And you notice like fairly quickly that it gets warmer. And at some point she takes the like goat skin off from around her shoulders and carries it in her hands. And both of you start to like sweat a little bit. It's warm and like damp down here. And then you come to the edge of an opening, and down below you can see that there's some kind of like underground like river or lake or something. And it's not huge. It's not like an enormous reservoir or anything, but it's like a hot spring, like an underground hot spring. And there are some people like down there bathing in it, just like hanging around talking, and it's like very quiet. And she turns and smiles at you, and she says, "See, much more relaxing down here. Come on." And she sets the goatskin like shawl aside and starts walking down this staircase, this natural staircase towards the pools.
Yeah, I follow.
Okay, all right. So as you continue down the stairs, she gets to the bottom and she like kicks off her she's like anklets on, and she like kicks those off and sets them aside. And you can see there's a little area where people have laid their clothes and their shoes and stuff. And she just starts taking her clothes off.
I mean, this isn't. I was gonna react one way, but Mahrib doesn't like. This isn't something that's weird to him. He's seen this before,
right? And so this was about to be the question that I asked. So it's clear to you that these people have a slightly different sense of propriety around being naked than like people in the courts do necessarily. Which isn't to say that the people of the courts are particularly like prudish.
Right.
Just like being naked is a thing. You were born that way, right? And so my question would be to become like, is there a taboo against nudity or like mixed company nudity or what, like among the Goliaths? Or is it just like you could Dr. Manhattan that shit anytime you want?
Yeah, it doesn't. He doesn't care. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I think the only thing is like, I think it's so open that, sometimes Goliaths would even go in, like the Berserkers would even go into fights,
Yeah.
William Wallacing their way around. So they don't really care.
Yeah.
So yeah, but if he sees like her derobing and getting into the are there other people in the sauna that she's getting to, or the
Yeah, they're like, it's that thing where they're distant enough that you can kind of see them through the mist. You can see like shapes of people sitting and talking quietly. So it's an open area, but the fog and the like hushed library tones gives everybody a little bit of privacy.
Okay. Yeah, then I'll walk into wherever she's like getting into, but I walk up to the edge and I don't get in. And I'm going to stay out if you don't mind it. It's bad for the weapons. I don't deserve something like this. It's fine. But by all means, please.
She laughs and she says, you know, and she's like already in the water and like leaning back, and she looks up. So she's looking way up at you and she says, you know, if you're going to try to politely lie about something, you should pick one lie and stick to it. You tried 3 and frankly, none of those worked. You can relax. You're safe. Put your weapons aside. And she gestures, and you can see like people have laid, they've got like, there's a spear and a couple of swords that are just sitting over on the side. She says, no one's going to take them from you. You're not going to be attacked. It's fine. Come in, relax.
It's not. When you live your life being afraid of what's going to happen when someone opens a door, it's not something you can toss away or forget. Relaxation is something I gave up long ago. I hope you can understand that.
No, I can't. This is, and she kind of like makes like a little frustrated face. She's like, I don't want to play the game of who's had a harder life, but I understand what it's like to be scared, to be having to fight to survive. And I have to tell you, you need to know, if you don't let yourself relax, what's the point of living? Try.
There's a line between you see him like just kind of forget what he was going to say. He's looking around.
Yeah. Drift off.
It was an admirable attempt, but I will not be joining you inside. I apologize.
And she scowls. You can see her kind of thinking over it, and she says, well, how about this? How about you just take your boots off, roll your pants up to the knees, and sit on the edge.
Fair enough.
You can hold onto your axe the whole time.
That will not be needed. So yeah, I bend over, start untying my shoes, my boots, set them down. I'll take the axe off my side and kind of set it on the side of the stone. I'll put my feet in the water.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's nice. It's like, it's warm, and it whether it's relaxing to you or not, like your muscles like it. Your body is like, oh, that feels good.
Yeah.
And so you sit down, and she's across from you on a little like bench in the stone, and so yeah. Do you say anything? You sit down, like.
No, I think I just sit down and I'm trying to focus on relaxing.
So she sees you doing this, right? And she's like, are you trying to relax?
Yes, I suppose I am. Is that not how you relax? I seem to have forgotten.
She starts laughing, and she says, oh, you you poor thing. Yes, the harder you try, the more impossible it's going to become. You just have to let your mind go blank. Just breathe. Let go of whatever it is that's got you acting this way.
I think I close my eyes for a split second, like I try to clear my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't say anything or do anything to do that. So like 5 or 10 seconds pass. If she doesn't do anything, I open my eyes, and this is foolish. I should not be in here. I should be sleeping before the journey tomorrow. I'm leaving, by the way, if I did not make that clear.
Nods. Awu told me. You're going back to the old Sun Temple?
Yes, I have a friend I need to bury. You might see why relaxing is tough.
Life is very hard. We carry around these burdens of flesh, heaven made for us prisons, and we drag them from one thing to another until they fall apart and the soul escapes. If you look at everything that way, then there's no reason to relax, no reason to set down your weapon. You run from one fight to another, but it won't change the matter of things. People die. You'll die. I will eventually. But if you focus on that, if that's all you think about, what was the point of even being alive in the first place?
It's one way to look at it, I suppose.
You have another way of looking at it that you prefer?
I'm a little lost at what I prefer these days.
That's fair and understandable. Sometimes being alive gets us turned around. We think we're going one way and we end up the other. I understand that. So this friend of yours, who is she?
Good guess, I suppose. I'm not sure how to answer that, however. She was not from this plane, I suppose is the best way to describe it. I should probably start from the beginning, I suppose. And so I start to tell, like, how I met Ramus and Berg and how we decided to journey together with a giant elephant and ended up in the necromancer camp and got whisked away to the world of the void and befriended, the Princess Gunblade. Now I'm blanking on her original name. All of that stuff, like the full story, without leaving anything out, and probably talk for or tell the story for several hours in the night. And then finish with then I found myself here talking with you.
Well, you know what they say. All's well that ends well. And she leans back and she says, so what then? You're just going to do whatever your friend Ramus says all the time because, I don't know, you have the same boss? I'm not totally clear on your position in all of this. She glances over at the axe. Or maybe I should be having a conversation with him if you're just here to carry it.
I'm not sure my position either. It's one of the things I need to go back in the camp and have a conversation about.
Well, you've already made a great first step. You came here for help. That's very difficult for a lot of people to do. And you admit that you don't know what you're doing. That's even harder, especially for people like you. I mean, no offense, just people who are in charge of their lives, people who do things. I know your type. Can't slow down, can't stop. Always have to have some plan, some enemy to fight. I understand. But I hope you have time to do more than dip your feet in whenever your most recent task is done. Though I have to say, with what you've told me about Ramus, I think we're all going to get a lot busier very soon.
Yes, I assume we will. You should be careful here. There will be war soon, of some sort, I'm sure. Then we will call upon the Embers. I assume they will answer, so you be careful.
She nods. Our goal, we're older than this conflict between the Mara, whatever they are, and heaven. Our traditions are traditions more than 10,000 years old. The prayers we make to Imix have been made by human mouths for as long as humans have existed. We see the primordials rise as a return the end of an era of manipulation. But do you have any siblings, Maharib? Brothers and sisters?
Maharib's eyes immediately like dart down to the ground, and I suppose I have a brother. I've not seen him in, I don't know, years at this point.
Sometimes siblings don't get along, even if they all want the same thing. Imix is just one of many. So she shrugs. Problem for another day, I suppose. The Embers are your allies. Whatever the other primordial cults, whatever anyone else says, I know Awut. He would send our warriors to follow you, to help you in your endeavors. But now that you've seen this place, seen the people that live here, that serve Imix, you know what's at stake for us. And if you're taking your orders from someone you don't trust, just remember, we're bound to that fate too.
Probably a couple, like 15 seconds or 20 seconds of just silence, because Maharib's like finally realizing that he's been taking orders this entire time, even though he's felt in command. Yeah. And he just, seemingly out of nowhere with no lead in, what would you do if you had a soul and could save something or someone? Would you bring them back to this place?
What reason would I have not to save them? Of course.
Is it worth coming back here to finally find peace?
She's like nodding. I'd like to think that anyone could be welcome here. We have a lot of enemies, and so new friends are hard to come by. Recruitment is slow. This court is a very dangerous place to be. I'm certain that what does he call himself? King of Black Rivers? I'm certain he has spies here among the Embers, but we've spies among his people too. And then there's the court trying to survive, and I hear that there are coins agents now. So she shrugs. It's times like this, even the smallest ways we can help people matter. Whatever we can do. That's what I think anyway.
How do you choose, if you had to, who lives and who stays dead? Do you weigh the soul against one another?
Oh, that's how heaven works. Death and life never used to be so different. The way things were before heaven, not like this. Some of that is still present in our prayers, our rituals, a return to the earth. We burn our dead, like most do, but it's not to free their soul, but to give their body back to the fire that we believe animates everyone on the inside. So choosing who lives or dies, that's not a choice we can make.
Well, unfortunately, it's one I have to.
I'm sorry you have to carry that burden.
So am I. I think I start getting out of the sauna. My feet are probably pruned at this point because of how long the story went on. Yeah, I start putting my boots back together.
Yeah, and she gets out and gets a towel and dries off and gets dressed, and maybe the two of you, she walks back up to because you're heading back to bed, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So she walks you back to your room. And as you go, she says, have you ever known a warrior, someone like yourself, to set aside their weapons and retire?
You hear stories, but they're not the ones told, at least a lot, of those warriors.
We do like it when the hero dies at the end, don't we? Noble sacrifice and all that.
Something like that, yes.
Well, I hope you get your chance. That axe of yours gets laid to rest whenever this task that's weighing you down is done. I hope you live long enough to enjoy the fruits of your labor.
We shall see.
Yeah. And so you're standing at the door to your room, and she says, well, the storm's supposed to dissipate by tomorrow. It's going to be a wet trek back, but if you're quick, you should be able to make it before nightfall.
I appreciate that. Perhaps if you see anything in your visions, you'll let me know before I leave.
She nods. If I dream of anything, I'll tell you what it is tomorrow. When are you leaving?
I suppose after breakfast is... I haven't had breakfast in months.
Yeah, she nods. She says, well, then I'll meet you in the hall in the morning. We'll eat together, and then I'll see you off.
Very well. I appreciate this and your time.
That's what I do.
I kind of look down the halls and say, I'm not sure what to say now. Good night. Just shut the door.
She laughs, and you walk into the room and close the door. Yeah, and because she's barefoot and pretty sneaky, you don't hear her walking away.
Okay. All right. I start to take the weapons off and put the axe back at my side and fall asleep with my hand on it.
Yeah. It's okay, Axe. It's just you and me again.
Well,
you, whether or not Vani, the fire shaman, has a dream, we don't know. But Maharib will wake the next day having a vague recollection of the same halls that he walked before he slept, but strewn with the dead bodies of the embers of Imix. You see you have a grisly nightmare about all these people you saw, but dismembered and killed. And in their place, walking the halls, are the dead. You see these bodies rise from the ground, and begin to patrol the place, to clear it out. And you walk among them as an exalted
ally?
figure. Yeah, they the shattered boned warriors who died fighting to protect this place. They turn to you and salute you. Right, you get bowed to as you walk through this place. You see, and I think the impression that you get as you walk through it, the impression you get is that this is what happens when people turn against the Mara. That if you care about these people at all, make them fall in line or they will die, right? Everyone serves the Mara in the end, whether alive or dead. They have a choice. They could, become subservient to the Great Green Worm and swear fealty, or they can die and they can serve him in death. And either way, that's how this is going to go. So you get that impression from the axe, that feeling of bending them to the will of the Mara.
Okay. I'm trying to think how Maharib would interpret that. So it's safe to say that the axe is saying no matter what, these people will serve me regardless of what happens. Is that one way that I could interpret that? Okay.
Yeah, maybe if you want to interpret it that way. But basically it was they'll fall in line or else.
Right. Okay. Is that something that wakes me up
Oh, I don't think
stressed,
so.
or do I just have that dream and then wake up later?
I think you just have that dream. I'll let you decide how you want to. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I keep it to myself. I don't react. I just wake up the next morning and start getting dressed with armor and everything to go to breakfast.
Okay. All right. So you you head out. So meanwhile, back at the monastery, 10 pillars of gold. What are you up to? Because we know that basically at any given time you are casually gathering information, bribing soldiers to tell you things they shouldn't be telling you, and more or less just getting your fingers, all 10 of them, just right up in that pie. So you basically know the names of pretty much everyone important in camp, right? You know anyone who's a defector from the Court of Swords army. You know anyone who is like a former mayor of a town. There are a couple of like defrocked priests that live here, right? You've got a pretty good handle on the structure of power and who's in charge, and like you've built a pretty clear hierarchy in your brain. But you have other things that you want to be doing as well. So what do we see 10 Pillars of Gold up to? What do you want to be doing when the camera falls back on you?
Well, in line with one of my goals, you said there was a library, yeah? Like a place where knowledge has been gathered and that kind of thing, and I would love to do the research of trying to figure out like where like the legends left off for the pieces of Emperor Phase regalia.
Yeah, because like Berg's got you thinking about like, and so the equivalent, just to give people like some context, the equivalent for 10 Pillars of Gold of seeing Berg with the hammer and the belt would be like if you saw a guy with a beard and a flannel shirt and a blue ox, and you'd be like, wait a second, are you Paul Bunyan? He's like, no. This is just Paul Bunyan's shirt. Then Paul Bunyan's ox. I'm not Paul Bunyan. So like you have like it's been rolling around in your brain where you're like, I wonder what the deal. So you're gonna head to the library to go and investigate. Okay, all right.
Well, so, I think the first thing I do, like my first absolutely 100% first priority, is to see what the fuck is taking Gravedirt so long for our meeting.
Yeah,
because she said it would take 2 days, and it's been longer than that. So that would be my first order of business, and then
well, let's start there.
If I get the fucking runaround or whatever, yeah.
Okay. So where do you go to find Gravedirt?
I probably know where her like quarters are, or whatever it's called, according to the map that you gave us. It has, and also like just by knowledge, like look for the most like expensively garbed guards.
Yeah, you and her live in the same like connected miniature mansion, right? Like she lives in the inner sanctum. She's like just enough of like an arrogant bullshit villain that she has taken the former high priest's quarters as her own, right? So she sleeps on this like enormous 4-poster bed that used to be like it's hundreds and hundreds of years old, and like she lives in the old monk's like room basically, and that's in the inner sanctum. You live in a guest room in that same building.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I will contact her major domo, whoever like is her second in command or the third in command if that guy's not available, and shit like that, and I'll raise the appropriate amount of fuss to get my cries heard.
So, you are one of like, where are you when someone comes to, like to find you? Where do we find you? Are you out are you watching drills in the yard, in the plaza? Are you, wandering the hall of worship? Like, where do we find 10 Pillars of Gold?
If I was in the library, would I be there like during this whole kerfuffle with the ghosts and stuff? Is that where it took place?
It doesn't really matter when that took place. Like my thing was basically as soon as you walk into the library, I was going to have you come in at the end of that fight and be like, hey, God, what happened in here? Is that a wall made of lasers?
Okay. Then I will. Yeah, I'll be like in the dining hall talking to soldiers as I, puff away at my pipe.
Yeah, and I envision, and you tell me if I'm wrong on this, but I envision the 10 Pillars of Gold is more of like like he goads people into telling stories and then listens to them rather than sharing his own most of the time. Yeah, okay. Soldiers love bragging, so probably right now you're listening to two guys who some months ago were on opposite sides of a battle. One of them was fighting for the Court of Swords. The other was a sergeant fighting for the river, the King of Black Rivers. And they're both telling the story of this battle, but they're doing it to try to make each other like look bad. And it's very cordial, like they're friends, but it's a lot of that good-natured ribbing where it's like, and then the left flank collapsed, and the guy's like, the left flank collapsed. Your mother, we were strong on the left flank, and they're basically going back and forth, like describing this battle and like kind of picking little fights with each other. When you hear behind you, you hear a voice, and this is what happens in this order. You hear the voice, then everyone else at the table immediately shuts up. So you hear this quiet voice, and someone tugs on your robes. You hear esteemed guest, and when you turn, everyone sees that creepy little kid that is always like following Gravedirt around. He looks like he's maybe like 10. He's got like a bowl cut. He looks kind of like a peasant kid, but he's been dressed up. Like he has the dark skin of a field worker. But he's been dressed up in like somber finery. Like he's wearing what you would wear if you lived in the Court of Swords and your like child died. This would be what you dress them up in before you get them cremated. So he just like tugs on your outfit. His name is Sen, or Little Sen, though you think that's probably only what Gravedirt calls him. Everybody else just like zips the lip when they see him.
Did he say something?
Yeah, he said esteemed guest. Like, excuse me, like tugged on your robe.
Yes, please, little one.
And he bows respectfully to you, and he says, may I speak with you a moment, please? In the plaza.
I get up.
Okay. So everybody watches the two of you like walk out of the room. And you get some glances of envy, right? Some people look at you like, oh, damn, I wish I was important enough for that. But also you get looks of like fear and pity where people are like, oh no, like as if you were going to the principal's office, right? Some people are like, oh shit, 10 Pillars of Gold's in trouble. So there's a mix of looks on the faces of the soldiers and the workers in this area as you walk out.
Well, then before I leave, I turn back and I go, I heard the left flank was a bunch of cowards. And just to get them like all fucking riled up again.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever. So you hear suddenly when you say that, the energy in the room kicks back up. Somebody slaps the table and they're like, my nut, it was raining there. And like they just start fucking shouting at each other again. And it's that good nature. They're not getting into a fight, but they're arguing. And so they start yammering, and Sen comes out with you. And as you emerge into the brilliant hot sunlight in the plaza, Sen turns to you, and he says, allow me to offer our deepest apologies for keeping you. I understand that you're a very important personage, and that I'm sure you have better things to do than wander the plaza watching soldiers drill. It is our deepest hope that this time will have been worth it to you. My mistress wishes to speak with you as soon as she's completed her current work. I've been instructed to field any questions you might have in advance. Try to help ease the distance between here and there. We didn't want you getting impatient.
So, what are you exactly? You're obviously not just a child.
No one's ever asked me that before. Everyone in the camp.
I like to know who I'm dealing with.
Looks around. Everyone in the camp is too afraid, I think. I admit this form is incongruous. It's merely a reflection of my intent. I serve Gravedirt as her assistant, her major domo. I organize her meetings, make sure that she has no impediment to success.
I assume this form is to throw people off guard.
I consider it more of an experiment. You and other mortals like you have no choice in the form you take. You're reflection of your parents, but sometimes you're not. In the form of the Tianxi or Tiefling, the Genasi, different from mother and father and siblings sometimes. I thought, why not try it myself? That was about a
Mortals
decade
like
ago.
me, you say, meaning
He
you are
smiles and
to count yourself as one of them.
I know. No, of course not.
Yet you serve a mortal.
That is
or
the
keep
purpose.
tabs on her.
That is the purpose of the gods. We serve.
Very well. How do you think this is going to go?
Which part?
The negotiation. You think we'll both be happy with with the outcome, or will I leave disappointed?
The answer to that question depends. I'm not of the correct bureau to ascertain what is going to happen, but I could make an educated guess if you'd like.
Please.
There's only going to be more killing. You may be able to broker a peace with this King of Black Rivers for a time, if you wish. But once the Court of Swords has been stamped out, there's really no reason to conquer that vast desert to the west, so... The capital, it means so much to heaven. It would be a significant capture on the part of the Mara.
And when he
I'm
says
not
the
sure that they're
capital,
going to be-
the capital
Yeah.
is...
Whenever anyone refers to the capital without specifying, they mean the capital city of the Court of Coins.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah. For a while, in like prehistory, for a while it was technically like the capital of the world. It's where Emperor Faye's throne was, and like in a previous version of human civilization, it was the only capital, which is kind of stuck.
Okay. So, why help them and not us?
I grew tired, as did many of my companions, of serving humanity in the way that we had been. I think that there's another way. I believe that my compatriots in heaven are misguided, that the arcana are flawed, and that the structure of heaven cannot continue. I believe that the destiny of humanity is now a three-wheeled wagon, doomed only to fall from the road.
You mentioned your compatriots. As far as I know it,
Not.
Heaven is... There's an order to it, a hierarchy.
Nodding in confirmation. Yep.
Where do you fall, or did you fall, in that pecking order?
The bureaucracies of heaven are complex beyond your imagining. Even for a bureaucrat like you, I have neither the words nor you the time in the rest of your lifespan to adequately explain those hierarchies. I, as any other god of heaven, held a position. I have retained the spirit of that position, if not the letter of my right to it.
Now, Adam, quick question about like heaven and
Theology?
the arcana and stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Do the gods fall in the arcana? Like these are gods of the tower. These are gods.
Okay, think of the arcana. Think of the arcana as departments within a bureau, right?
Okay,
like
that's
if
what
the
I thought.
celestial bureaucracy is everything that makes heaven work. The chariot is its full name is probably something like the Department of Chariot Affairs or whatever, in the sense that they're responsible for all the chariot type stuff. Yeah.
So every god would be in an arcana department.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. So can I glean from what he has said and how he acts and how he talks and stuff like that? Can I glean what arcana he might have worked for?
You can make a religion check and we can see.
Okay. That's a good check for me. Let's see if I can not berg it up. 18.
18 is a terrible roll for you.
It is.
You get a plus 14, but for anybody else, that's a great roll.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know you have enough information yet.
Oh, wait a minute. There is something here. Hold on.
You have a thing, right?
It says you have a refined your skills. Whenever you make an ability check that includes your whole proficiency bonus, you can treat any D20 roll of 9 or lower as a 10. So
there you go.
24.
So you actually got 24. Okay.
Yep.
Good. So, also, without letting it go by, you did definitely just berg that roll. Like, you berged it hard. So, yeah, with that's great. With a 24. So, you could narrow it down, right? Without further information. This person's, like, attitude. Let me take a look at the major arcana and give you some like guesses, because you're not going to be able to nail it down, but you could probably get it within like a category, right? Within one of the spokes.
Yeah.
So
if he wants to bring down the Court of Coins and let the Necro King like run rampant, there's certain ideas there that fall in line with certain arcana, I'm guessing.
Yeah. So probably it depends. He's arrogant, which might indicate that he's a servant of like the Emperor or the Hierophant. But he's also working with I would say if you had to guess, it'd be the Emperor, the Hierophant, or Death.
Okay.
Probably part of one of those bureaus.
Okay. Would 10 Pillars of Gold know about the vault in the City of Brass, the Devil's Vault in the City of Brass?
Yeah, because there's like another one in the capital, right?
Okay. So he will mention like the city of like not okay. Let me see if I can RP this.
Sure.
The fall of the City of Brass must have been, well, it was an event for any side you were on. The devil lost the vault, a vault. The Hierophant lost a temple along with the Emperor. And I'm going to try and see if there's any hitch when I mention any of those things. Like any sort of tell.
Yeah, make an insight check.
Okay. 31.
31, not bad. A vague sense of like not even sadness, but like, yes, a sad thing happened. That's true.
Okay. But
Probably said something like, "Yes, we all lost many faithful that day."
Okay. So I don't get any more information. Okay.
Not from like goading out with those particular ones.
Yeah. I feel like trying to dissect me with this blunt little tool. All right. My question that has come up. Do you still believe that you serve heaven?
None of us serve heaven. We never have. The gods serve the fountain. Heaven was an experiment. An experiment we let run for 10,000 years. An experiment that I and others like me believe has come to an end. That heaven no longer serves the best interests of the fountain.
And you know the best interests of the fountain.
In that, you and I are not so different. The powers of heaven interpret, read signs, and guess. Based on what I've seen, I think things are changing.
So if you had your way, how would this all play out for you? This war, battle, whatever you want to call it, between the courts and the king, necromancer king.
The old systems need to be wiped away. The courts, the hierarchies that derive from them, heaven itself, toppled. If I could, I'd wipe the whole thing clean. Every living thing on this failed experiment destroyed, wiped away by plague or fire. I don't care which. I'd plant every tree anew. Raise entities from insect to slug to lizard to ape. And if we land on humanity again, a second chance. It's clear, he gestures around, all this misery, but it's not going to work that way. We don't get another world. So we make do with this one. And how do you mortals say it? You can't make an omelet without killing everyone and starting over? Is that how that phrase goes?
Close enough. You make some.
I know that must be hard. He says, I know that must be hard for you to hear. Your power must feel like it comes from the court and the court's power from heaven, but you have to understand that when it comes down to it, I'm on your side. We all are.
Your meaning,
gestures.
Life.
He gestures at you. He says, humanity, but also life, everything, the fountain, which is a part of you as much as it is of me. And he cocks his head and he looks at you and he says quietly, I know that you came here to broker for peace, to see if it was possible. My suggestion is that you go back to your quarters, you take your things, you go north. And if you want to live, you keep going north. It will take the Mara some time to reach the distant reaches. You could theoretically live out the entire rest of your natural life unmolested. But the closer you are to this, And the more you try to broker peace, the more painful it will be when you fail. And fail you will, because you must.
You're starting to sound like every braggart general I've ever come across. Overconfident, prideful. And all of them are dead in the ground.
I don't wish to intimidate you, but do not misunderstand me. This is no threat. This is how things will be. The tide has already begun to come in. There is nothing that you or any mortal will be able to do about that. I don't expect you to understand with your limited perspective. I wanted to give you a chance to leave now before you upset my mistress, and she... Well, I'm sure you've heard stories about what she does to her enemies.
I've heard you. I understand your position. You must understand mine, that I cannot leave here. Tail tucked between my legs, telling my superiors in the Court of Coins to pack up everything and leave and run. I'd rather die. You must know that.
If you believe that that is your destiny, then I feel sad for you. And if I were you, handed such a foul gift, I would be mad at whatever God wrote it for you.
I die in the service of the court and heaven. I couldn't ask for a better death. I believe in something. Do you?
If only it were so simple. I envy you your faith. I hope that it nourishes you when nothing else is available to do so. If you still wish to speak with her, I can take you to see Gravedirt now.
I do. Thank you for the conversation.
He nods. And then it takes you to the inner sanctum to see Gravedirt. So the library trip will have to wait. Berg and Ramus, once you have dispatched the ghosts, all the ghosts are gone. There are no ghosts left. What do the two of you do? Do you stay down in the library, or what happens?
I originally came down here to try to find a sacred relic to cast one of my spells. So I guess I'd search the bodies of the high priest looking for something on their person that would...
Yeah, and remind me what it is that what are you looking for specifically?
Oh, hold on. Get the spell. It is a tiny reliquary worth at least 1,000 gold, containing a sacred relic such as a scrap of cloth from a saint's robe or a piece of parchment from a religious text.
Yeah, that's easy. That's easy to find down here. So you can't find... The thing is, like, reliquary, you make the reliquary yourself. So you need a relic such as, like, a piece of parchment from a religious text is easy. But I think to make one worth 1,000 gold, I think you dig around, and like these priests they're like support priests. They're not the lead. And in fact, you haven't seen the body of the high priest so far. You don't know where he is. You vaguely remember that weird old man talking about the sun tower. And you know for a fact from living here that the sun tower is like the most holy place in here. But I think, if you could get the high priest's like holy symbol or his robes or like a finger bone or something, you could build your reliquary. But down in the library, I don't think you find anything. Not anything that's good enough for holy aura.
Okay.
Berg, what are you doing? I think you muted, Max.
Can you hear me now?
Now we
There
can.
you go.
Yep, there it is.
Berg is also rifling through the dead priest, but looking for valuables.
Okay. All right. They have on them like holy symbols of the sun, but they're monks, and so probably just have like their robes and maybe like a rope belt to hold their robes up. Nothing otherwise valuable on them. This place is full of like old books and scrolls, though. So there's that.
Damn it. Maybe I can find some of that good porn.
Then he goes to the shelves to look.
Okay. All right. So Ramus, you see Berg go over and start looking through the shelves, looking at books. And for the most part, Berg, you're not finding anything interesting. It's just like songbooks and hymnals and religious texts, and they're all boring. So what does Ramus see? Are you just like yanking them off the shelf and throwing them, or are you like digging through them? What do we see?
I think you just see him rifling through, just
okay.
They don't have pictures,
What? Oh, shit. Right. Hold on.
I was trying to help you find what you were looking for. What is that?
Wow, that's very helpful of you. I didn't even have to ask. That's surprising, Bird. Wow, thank you.
I'm more than just big meat.
Big.
Sounds exactly like Berg.
Well, looking for a sacred parchment, text, something very holy.
When you look over at Berg, it takes you a second, but Berg is making his pecs like bounce up and down while you're looking at him. Like he's just flexing one and then the other back and forth. And it's like he doesn't even realize he's doing them. He's just you just see his muscles just go like bah, 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 bah. Like he's just like flexing his pecs at you. And he doesn't, the look on his face is not that it's like you don't even realize he's doing it.
You okay, Berg? Like, you need a rest.
I am very tired.
Took a beating in that fight, so you must just be tired.
It was a tough fight.
Well, let's get you into bed. You're being weird.
You're weird.
Wow, that hurt, Berg.
Nope, I think we lost you again, Max.
Keep talking to me like that, I'll kick your ass, you silly little man.
All right, so Ramus, it's clear that Berg's not feeling great. There's a big fight. Are you gonna take him back upstairs and go back to your little corner of the barracks?
Yeah, we're gonna take him back and get him some rest, either in Ten Pillars' room or the barracks.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's true, right? You have a little like a room with 10 pillars. Okay, so the two of you head back up the stairs towards that. Meanwhile, cut back to 10 pillars. You have been brought to not Gravedirt's like personal quarters or anything, but to one of her like work rooms. It used to be a study, probably, but all of the furniture has been removed. And Sen brings you to the door and says, my mistress is in the middle of an experiment, but she's made it clear to me that she can speak to you while she does it. If you're at all squeamish, you may wish to wait, but I suspect your urgency will overpower that.
You suspect correctly.
Okay. So he nods and he opens the door. Inside, there is a single stone slab in the center of the room. And on the slab, there is a dead body. It is the body of an enormous tiefling. She has grayish blue skin, She has broken off horns, and she's laying on the slab. She's covered by a sheet, and her dead eyes are just staring up at the ceiling. And in the room, you see, and she's not dressed in her like normal kind of like walking around being the boss of this place outfit. She has a couple of kind of like military outfits she wears. She's wearing fairly simple clothes. Her pale skin, she has like pale aristocrat skin, very shiny black hair. And she's just wearing like a tunic and trousers and a pair of like nice leather boots. And then over it, she's wearing like an apron. It's like a leather apron. And she's currently writing something on a book that she has open on a little pedestal next to the body. And when you come in, she looks up, she puts up a hand like just 1 second, finishes writing, and then she says, "Thank you, Sen. That'll be enough." And Sen bows and says, "She doesn't say anything. He just looks at her and bows, and she kind of like, go ahead, get out of here." And he turns and leaves. And she looks at you and she says, "They have these where you're from, right?"
What is she referring to?
Gestures to the body. You don't know what specifically she means.
Okay, if she means the creature, the tiefling.
Yeah.
We do. They're rare, right?
Super rare, yeah. So tieflings, tieflings everywhere are a sign of bad luck. They're only born during a period of, they're either born or conceived during a period of 5 days, which is void time. It's the space between the calendars. Doing anything on those days is bad luck, but like having a baby is especially bad luck. Also, definitely don't have sex with anyone in case you impregnate them during a bad time or they impregnate you. So tieflings are in like backwaters, usually like drowned or exposed or whatever, right? In the civilized world, they are often given away to monasteries to try to like redeem them, where they sometimes just die anyway because life's hard. But basically, they are like cursed. They're cursed babies, and for the most part, nobody likes them because heaven has said they're bad. They're evidence that somebody fucked up.
Mm.
You definitely have them, but I don't know. You probably know one or two yourself. Like everybody knows a tiefling.
Okay. And the question was what again?
You have these where you're from, right?
Not many. They're rare. And oftentimes they're given away, drowned. Many people view them as evidence of heaven's disapproval. If you were born wrong or you lived poorly, you would come back as this. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but those are the rumors.
She nods. It is true. And to a degree. There are other ways. This one came from somewhere not this world at all. Those guests of mine that arrived while we were trying to speak before, they brought her with them. But that was some time ago. And I've made no efforts to preserve the body. No magics, necromancy. I have these talents, but there's no need to apply them. Look, the body's still perfect. She like prods at it. Strange, isn't it?
Could someone else have used magics on it?
She nods. Yes, there are spells that can steal the soul, leave the body in stasis like this. But I could find no enchantment at all. I'm fascinated. It's like she's not even real. She looks down. and you can see there's this admiration in her eyes, like there's something special about this dead body, and I'm like kind of envious of it.
It has she hadn't cut it open or anything yet, or had she?
Not yet, no.
Not
but
yet, okay.
you see that there are like surgical tools here,
Right? Yeah. Okay.
laid out, but she hasn't begun.
Are you planning on diving into the whatever it is to see what's inside of it?
And she looks up and she says, I was, in fact. And she looks past you and folded up on the counter, like next to you, on a table next to you, you see another apron and a pair of gloves. And she says, I was hoping you could assist me. We can talk while I work.
I must confess, of a curiosity of the unknown myself, I shall join you.
Make an insight check.
I walk over to the apron and the gloves.
Yeah, make a quick insight check. I want to see if you pick up on her reaction to that. I imagine you probably will.
23 then.
23. Yeah. She's impressed. She did it just to see what you do, expecting you to be like, oh, gross, I won't do that. Because touching a corpse is considered like among the court cultures, like not a thing you do. Like if somebody dies, you call the priest of death and they'll come and take the body away. But like a person handling a corpse is usually taboo.
Right. But I thought about it, and the reason why I'm willing to do this and join her is two reasons. One, because I want her to feel comfortable around me, and I want like that kind of reaction. But two, because in the eyes of heaven, this is just like one step up from like some bog creature or something like that.
Sure,
like,
yeah.
So it's like this is more like dissecting an animal than it is an actual person.
You're a monster.
Yeah. So
hey, I didn't make this fucking world, baby.
We don't linger on it, right? I'm not here like this scene. The purpose of the scene is not to gross you out. Like now that 10 Pillars of Gold has been like, yes, I will participate. It happens like off screen basically. And she's not like chopping the body up. She's just going to like open up the body and look around and like look at the organs and like see what's what. So it's an examination of this like pretend corpse. And I think during the process, like we'll have this other conversation, but during the process, there's a lot of like your conversation is interrupted by a lot of, can you pass me that whatever, right? Pass me that saw, pass me that scalpel. And then also a lot of her being like, and making notes. And if you ever ask her, like, would you engage her or do you just assist? Or are you ever like, oh, what have you noticed?
Yeah, I would definitely ask if she like says like that's strange or whatever. I would ask like what she considers like what's strange about that or that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
okay,
I really want to know, does this body have a butthole?
Right? So we all want to know. We all really want to know.
Now's the chance, man. Let's take a look.
So I'm gonna roll a medicine check for our friend Gravedirt here, and I'm gonna add you as advantage. I'm gonna give her advantage on this roll. Okay, 2d20. We're gonna keep the best one. She's got a plus 12. Okay, well, she got a 15. So there's a lot of like,
sheesh.
She didn't do great. Yeah, she burged it just like you did. And she there's a lot of like, she seems really interested in what she's seeing. And so occasionally she'll say something like interesting, and you're like, oh, what do you see? And she'll be like, well, the organs are all where they're supposed to be, but they're so vestigial looking. Look, and she'll point out an organ and she'll be like, it's as if she has the bowel of a child, like as if no food has ever passed through it. Or like she'll point at her organ and be like, it looks like her lungs, like look how pink and soft they are. Like it looks like they were just grown recently. There's a lot of unusual comparisons where she'll be like, it's like a child's liver. And you're like, how do you know what a child's liver looks like? Right? It occurs to you. But unless you ask, she just never said anything. She just is like, yep.
Yeah. No, I'm doing my best to not appear grossed out, to tackle this very stoically, very scientifically.
So here's a question for Maharib, right? So Maharib, and this might be above and beyond what you expected to have to answer about your character. Do Goliaths have anything different about their guts than humans? Do you have like an extra heart, or like is there a Goliath organ? How much like Klingons are you?
I think I can't speak to the the health reasons. I'm not going to try to pronounce the word. Can't speak to the health reasons why this exists, but for whatever reason, Goliath stomachs are just able to handle more. Whether it's like more obscure shit, more raw shit, more foul shit, more food in general. It's just we can eat really anything and it won't bother us. Like we have hearty stomachs, and to that effect, it's also very hard to get a Goliath drunk.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. So I think a couple of times she points out like, oh, this is strange, right? Like even in a tiefling, I mean, tieflings are unusual, but yeah. And so you can kind of like build some goodwill off of her curiosity. And she points out how the organs are different than human organs, but mostly for her, she's like, right, but it's a tiefling. So while you're talking,
like posit my own hypothesis, like everything looks as if. Do you think maybe?
So you're very skilled at this kind of thing about making. You're very skilled at making one conversation into another, or like hiding your true intent inside another conversation. So why don't you tell me about like if you want to shift her like feelings towards you, or you want to shift her like attitude or opinion or whatever, you can do that subtly by manipulating her throughout the conversation. Are you trying to do that, or are you just like helping?
I'm trying to get her to realize like we're not that different. We want both of our peoples to like I wanted to get her to the side of like ending the killing on both sides, because we both want our people and our respective armies to to live and have all that kind of stuff. But
I assume you're not just going to go in and be like, here, let me hand you this scalpel. Also, you should declare peace.
Yeah, no. I want her to be teacher, and I a willing pupil for this particular thing. I want to lend her the power and ask her the questions and make her feel like she is the more intelligent one. She's the more knowledgeable one. That kind of stuff.
Okay. Make a persuasion check.
Okay. 22.
Nice. 22. Okay. So as you're at the end, as she's like sewing up the body, she points out like, to keep flies from getting in or whatever, right? She's sewing up the body. Right. She takes her gloves off. Actually, I don't think she wears gloves. She takes her apron off and sets it aside, and you're kind of in that post-experiment like part of the conversation. And she says, "You've come so far, and across such dangerous terrain, threatened, I'm sure, at every turn. You're in what, by all accounts, one would consider enemy territory. If you believe the temples, you believe the lies that heaven has placed before you, then you're in a very dangerous place, 10 Pillars. You feel like you're in danger."
Yes. But that feeling of being in danger has become it's like if you live in the city all of your life, and then you venture outside the city to go hunting or fishing, and you spend the night beneath the stars and you can't get to sleep because there's no city noise, even the small noises. It's become like that. I don't know what life is like without that fear anymore. So it doesn't bother me.
It pleases me to hear that. That feeling. Soon, that will be what all mortals who oppose us feel. Unable to sleep at night, dreaming of their dead loved ones who dared to stand up against us. In the end, only those who have been made comfortable with fear, who have faced death, have a place in our new society. There may be use for you yet, but you have to know this peace your masters have sent you here to broker. The only way peace is possible between my people and them is when they lay down their swords, either willingly or in the graves we will dig for them.
I had a conversation with Sen before I was bid to enter. If you're so confident in your victory, is the only reason you're speaking to me right now is for me to tell my superiors to give up, lay down their arms. And that's the way we can save the most lives. Does that about sum it up?
All I offer you, human, is something that heaven never has. Choice. You can do what you like. The road that I stand on leads north. If you wish, you could come along, or you can go home and, as you say, try to sue for peace so that when I arrive, resplendent in darkness, I will spare your people plague, the torture, the killing that they deserve if they stand up against us. You could do that. Or you could flee, go east, out into the islands. It would take some time for us to find you there. She glances over at a scalpel that's sitting on the, and it's like in a pool of like congealed blood sitting on the table, and she says, or you could try to kill me right now if you think that would change anything. Your life is your own, not heaven's. Certainly not mine. And she like just straight up turns. She turns her back on you. Like, there's a knife. You could try to kill me with it. I don't fucking care. I'm not scared of you. And you just straight up are like, yeah, don't worry about it.
Never been any good with a weapon. Words have always been my weapon and have served me well. I keep them sharp and ready. But to speak as though this war and battle have already been done, like you do, you realize what you stand against. The entire might and wealth of the Court of Coins. There's a reason that no one's toppled them yet.
I assure you, none like us have tried. Don't mistake me, 10 Pillars of Gold, for being arrogant. This is not the cocksure arrogance of a general. I have seen no future. But I know there is only one thing that is inevitable, and that is death. And I am his mistress. And she just like grins, just big smile at you.
I see why you garner followers so easily. You have a confidence in what you're doing. You have a way of telling a story that has no options in it for anyone who comes in contact with you. But I assure you, been through more than my fair share of battles. Not on the front lines, mind you, but I've seen many armies. And no plans survive meeting the battlefield. I've seen armies 10 times the size of the opposing fall because the other side had something more to believe in, something worth fighting for. And I asked I don't even know what to call him or it. What do you have that's worth fighting for? To conquer, to rule? What?
She shakes her head and says, that's where you have us wrong. We're not fighting for anything. We are simply a symptom of inevitability. Death comes to everyone. We're just speeding the process along.
You must know the Court of Coins will never back down, will never run. I came here with one purpose. That purpose was to see if you had any inkling of laying down arms if we did the same. I see now that that is not a possibility. So, I assume we will meet, or our sides will meet on the battlefield, and fate will have its way. I wish things were different. You're a very fascinating woman.
Yeah, so she approaches you quickly. Like 1 minute she's several meters away from you, and the next she's right next to you. And she has a hand up to the side of your face. She's not grabbing you, but like her fingers are touching your face, and she's like right up close to you. And for the first time, you smell under the like plum perfume that she wears, you smell the faint scent of rot, that sickly sweet smell of human flesh. And she's all like suddenly all close to you. And she says, you could always stay with me, you know. I could take your head from your body, preserve it, keep it on a shelf. That silver tongue of yours could tell me stories anytime I like. Perhaps I won't let you leave. I'll send your heart back to the Court of Coins without you. She like runs her hands down the front of your chest.
And he, if she allows him, he casually like takes a step back from her touch. Not like.
Yeah, you don't flinch.
Quickly.
You just
exactly
recede slightly. Yeah, okay.
Takes out his pipe and takes out his like little whatever scraping tool he has and starts scraping out his pipe.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't be the first to say that to me, and wouldn't even be the 10th, I'd imagine. You want me to deliver your message back to the Court of Coins? I will. I'll tell them exactly what you said. I have a good memory. If you wanted to kill me to send a message, you would have done so already. No need to talk to me about it. So I will. I'll take your message back to the Court of Coins. I'll let them know to prepare for war. Or if they deem what you say threatening enough, maybe move north. I wouldn't give that much of a chance, though. I do hope, no matter what happens, whether your side or my side wins, the next time we meet probably will be one of us on the other side of bars or shackles and have another conversation. But for now, I have a job to do. So if you let me, I will take my leave. And I'll relay your message. Puts the pipe back in his pocket, folds his arms.
Yeah, she doesn't, she has like just a blank face, like you're being so controlled and polite, and she's like a little put off, but also like mostly impressed. And she says, go if you wish, or stay as you like. These are free kingdoms. If you do return to the Court of Coins to warn them of what's to come, I hope you enjoy the capital one last time. It has been enlightening having you here.
I could say the same. My turn. Well, actually, like, is there like a bow, like a little like polite bow from one contemporary to another?
And this is the thing, yeah, you can pretty much make a gesture that indicates how much you feel like respecting her, right? If you just tell me and we can decide what it is. But what do you want to illustrate to her? Like, I'm your equal, or are you a little bit more like obsequious?
I'm not her equal. She runs armies and stuff. I'm a negotiator. I'm an emissary. I'm all that. So I will give her the bow of an emissary to someone who is of a higher position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and then
okay.
I will take my leave.
All right. Yeah. So you walk out. So when you leave, I think we cut back to Maharib. So Maharib, in the morning, if you go according to plan, you and Vani have breakfast.
Yep.
It's a porridge of some kind, probably.
Okay.
And she doesn't ask you anything serious. She doesn't ask you about like anything that would like set you off. She makes like light, fairly gentle conversation. I think maybe she talks about like the storm lifting, and how she's got to go and check on the little farm they have in this valley nearby where they've been growing some food. And like, yeah, just makes like casual conversation with you. Make sure that you have enough food, and just like everybody, and same with like everybody around. Like, you probably get a couple of people, like nobody's willing to come up and just like slap you on the back and be like, Maharib, good job with that dragon, man. But you get a lot of looks, you get some nods, mostly from like warriors younger than you, right? People who like look like they're dressed to look kind of tough or whatever. And they look at you, they give you a lot of like, yeah, that's Maharib. I'm going to be as strong as him someday. I'm going to have so many hit points. You're never going to be able to kill me, right? Like there's a lot of that as you, right? People looking at you and nodding, and stuff. And I think, and this will be the last scene.
Okay.
You're in this room, right? You're eating and whatever. And you hear someone walking like by or walking near your footsteps, set of footsteps, and you hear Awut say, "Oh, good, you haven't left yet." And when you turn to like look, we see Awut, and he sees you, and he turns to the person he's walking with, and the camera pans over, and we see a man, a scrawny man, in a little hat with like kind of greasy hair. He looks like he's had a rough week. He looks real tired. He is wearing an apron, like a chef's apron, with some like dark stains on the front of it. And he's holding a pair of chopsticks and a lacquered bowl piled high with noodles from which steam is rising. And he looks up, and the two of you see each other. And I think that's where we cut to credits. Just the look of the two of you looking at each other. He's just like, and then we cut to the credits.
It's old Doug.
You did send for him,
yeah,
right? You
we
were like,
for him.
Go get this guy Doug from town and bring him here.
Yeah.
So jealous of you right now, Maharib.
Man, Doug's role in the war on heaven is important, okay? Someone's got to feed the masses. They have Jesus, we've got Doug, all right?
We level up in fighting and, our magical abilities and such. He levels up in cooking, and his noodles literally have magical abilities.
Yeah, he's got 20 decks. Man. He's great at cooking.
If you're willing to invest time and energy in improving Doug, yes, magic noodles can fully be a thing. We could totally do that. I'm so in.
I would assume.
In the book of Krill, if Doug be for us, who could be against us?
And so did the apostle Doug feed unto Ramus the sacred noodles. And lo, were they salty and good?
We're going to have the
more followers came.
Yeah.
And slurps sang out joyously.
Exactly. And lo, did Ramus slurp once?
Yes.
Twice.
I just imagine a church full of like followers
to feed the
bowing and going like all at once.
Broth be with you, my son.
Oh Lord.
And ramen with you.
And ramen with you. Exactly. And then we'll have that one snide asshole that's like, ramen's overrated. He's just in the corner shouting at as loud as possible.
The apostate. Burn him at the stake.
Everybody
drag him from his home.
At him.
All right, let's do some shout outs and call it a show. Zeke, why don't you start us off?
In the name of Krill, Doug, Berg, and Ramus, ramen. What's up, everybody? My name is Ezekiel III. You can find me at /Ezekiel_III. I will be on Drop Frames tomorrow, and then after Drop Frames, I will be doing the final broadcast, goddamn, of AI, the Somnium Files, because I have, people were saying I have a couple hours left, but you know me, so it might stretch to 3 or 4 or whatever, but we will be finishing that tomorrow night. And then on Thursday, I think I've decided what I want to do after doing a text-based, sort of visual novelish game. I think I'm going to switch it up to going back to an action-y game where we're probably going to be starting Devil May Cry 4 on Thursday and continuing our franchise playthrough of Devil May Cry on our way to 5, so we can get that one played, before the end of the year. So that's what's happening with me. Thank you all. Thank you to Dan, Max, JP, and Adam for joining me every week doing this, which is awesome, and I love it. So, yeah, I can't wait to see what Dan comes up with for the first one shot.
Yeah, indeed. We got to get that scheduled. Speaking of Dan, why don't you do some shout outs for us, sir?
Hi, I'm DansGaming, variety streamer on Twitch. I'm currently playing through Zoo Tycoon and then do Death Stranding on Friday, when hopefully that game is good, or at least funny bad. And I'll be doing a one-shot later this month at some point. It'll be my first time DMing ever, so why not embarrass yourself in public in front of everyone, doing it for the first time. So I'm excited for that, and I cannot wait until our next D&D session, as always. Thanks for having me on, everybody.
Awesome stuff. Thanks for being here, Max. Mr. Chirp himself, Skippy.
Mr. Chirp, Crackles,
camera.
Skippy, camera. God, everything's just falling apart over here.
Oh, really, just the broken wheel of this
I don't even know
car.
why. I've done nothing to make this happen. It's ridiculous.
Well, you made me and Adam buy these UX2s, okay? This is your penance. All right?
Hey, I like mine, okay? And,
I know, I was just being an asshole. Do some shout-outs, Max.
Yeah, thanks, guys, for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I am GassyMexican on everything pretty much on the internet. You guys want to check me out on anything, follow them, Twitter and all that shit. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Sorry for the crackles and stuff. I'm going to work to get it fixed. Or it's not a problem when I normally, for me, the streaming. It's just when there's a lot of Chrome tabs and XSplit and all that stuff that's CPU intensive or whatever. It just makes it more the propensity of it happening higher. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank us, of course, to JP, Dan, Zeke, Adam, for being here and making this thing happen as well. I hope you guys enjoyed. I enjoyed playing the creepy pervy guy. It's kind of cool to have that inner monologue. Yeah, so I'm excited to explore that more. But yeah, we'll do the post show, talk about episode and all that, and I'll be streaming after this. I'm gonna do some more Red Dead Redemption 2 PC with some buds. If you guys want to check that out.
Cool. I'll go next so we can have a smooth transition out of Adam to that XP. Tomorrow we got Drop Frames. Zeke and me and Co will be chatting about all the latest and greatest in games in the past week, probably focused on BlizzCon and then the other games, and we'll probably get to the hordes of indie games that Zeke has not been able to talk about because we've been filling it with other games and nonsense. And yeah, anyways, that's all tomorrow. After that, I'm gonna check out Need for Speed Heat tomorrow after Drop Frames. Tonight, in about an hour, I'm gonna try out the new Twitch function watch parties and probably, I don't know, try to find the worst movie I can. Iron Man 2 is in the list, so we might watch Iron Man 2. That sounds like it might be nice and bad. I don't know. We'll see what else is there. And then, like everyone else, as Dan was saying, on Friday we'll be checking out Death Stranding. I hope I enjoy that game. But I don't know. It's going to be a tough stuff. We'll be talking about the reviews and stuff that are out there for Death Stranding tomorrow on Drop Frames, so tune in for that. Last but not least, Adam, do some shout-outs of yourself and we'll get some XP.
That's me. I will. My name is Adam Coble. I'm the happily made Dungeon Master of Court of Swords. This was a great episode. Thank you, everybody. It's always a little interesting when the group is kind of split up, and I always feel a little bad being like, oh, you got to wait and doing 20 minutes with one person, but I had a great time. I think this was a good episode. Thank you for coming, everybody. You can find me on Twitter at Skinnyghost or twitch.tv/Adam Coble. If you are a person who is interested in the comings and goings of new Dungeons and Dragons stuff, on Thursday at noon, I'm going to be doing a first look walkthrough of Eberron, the Roll20 version. So I'm going to dig in. We're going to look at all of the new stuff. I'm going to do a nice deep dive into this brand new D&D book. So that'll be cool. That's Thursday. You can catch that. And then like everybody else on Friday, I'm going to be playing Death Stranding. And I honestly love like head up his own ass, like auteur bullshit. So I'm sure I'm going to have a great time. So come on by and we will spend 45 minutes talking about the title screen. But I got to give these guys some experience. So let's do that thing. So let's see. Ramus. Feel like all of your goals were like bigger than just surviving that fight. And that's sort of what you ended up doing today. So do you want to change any of your goals for next time? Because right now I have find a way to revive unnamed, which basically Maharib is going to be like coming back at the beginning of the next session. So you have find a way to revive unnamed, recruit followers to Harmony, and then establish a place for the temple.
Yeah, I think I will change the established place for the temple for see if I can turn 10 pillars into an ally of Harmony.
Yeah. Okay. Because yes, 10 pillars is very well connected. 10 pillars would be like I can't remember the name of the guy from The Godfather, the consigliere, the dude who like knows everybody and deals with the politicians. And if somebody comes after the Godfather about like a deed, the consigliere is like, I got it. I'm your legal guy. Like, yeah, 10 pillars would be a great fit.
Hagen.
So yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's right. Hagen. Yeah. So I will add
adopted
that to your
my
goals.
Krautmik friend. Yeah. Sorry. I love Godfather.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So Berg, by the end of the game, you had six goals. You worked on learning more about the belt because you were down there to do that, right? Fighting off the ghosts helped you work on that one. So that's going to be 750, I think. Let me double check. Yep. Okay. So that's 750 for that one. And let me review your old man goals. I don't want to tell everybody what they are, but let me look at your hashtag old man goals. You worked on the first one. You worked on the first goal for sure. So that's another 750. So you get 16. Math.
Yep.
Times 2.
171,290 is where we're at.
All right. 1,500 for Berg. I will leave you with your old man goals for next time.
Nice.
And then Maharib, You worked on finding peace, I think was the one you worked on today.
Yeah.
You put some good effort into that. I don't think the other stuff came up necessarily. So.
No, I was going to do something there at the very end, but we ran out of time.
And that's okay. Do you want to change? So knowing that the beginning of the next session, knowing that you're going to be basically leaving, or if you don't intend to leave, do you want to change any of your goals? You get 750 experience today, but
did I didn't necessarily figure out how to revive Unnamed and Amira, just the fact that I have a soul, right? So there's no like.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll basically need to like go get the body and then either bring it back to the fortress or find a way to like call on Agni.
Right.
Ramus might be able to help you with that.
Yeah. I think I'm okay with the 3 of those then. I think I definitely have something in mind for the first one. And then the third one, and I think the second one will be potentially resolved next episode. So.
Yeah. Perfect.
Cool.
Okay. And then 10 pillars. You worked on, and I think you're going to change one of your goals. And then you worked on your other, right? Actually, I think you learned something about the condition or strength of this opposing army. I think we can close the book on that one. I think that one's like done because you learned that they like they're not interested in winning fights. Like if you had a longer conversation with her, she probably would have been like, listen, man, we don't need bullshit like tactics or strategy. We will just throw corpses at you until you become a corpse, and then we'll throw you at more. Like they don't care. They're just gonna march on the walls, and then eventually shit'll fall over. So you've resolved
and also
that
they have like an errant god on their side, so to speak.
Yeah, we know that Sen is part of, and we very, very lightly hinted at this, but Sen is part of that big weird like civil fracture in heaven. Okay, so you are level 13, so 2,200 for that one, plus another times 50 for working on brokering. So 100, 2,850 for you.
Okay.
And then do you want to? I guess you need two goals. Do you know what you want them to be?
Come up with 2 goals for next time.
Yeah, you want to think on it? Okay, perfect. All right. Cool. That'll do it. That's the XP.
Sounds good. I know there's some travel coming up for one of the members of the show or something like that. So I don't know if there's a show next week is the short of it. So we'll let you guys know. I think
we gotta figure it out. Okay.
Yeah, it might be the week after that. I forget exactly. So we'll let you guys know. We'll also let you know about Dan's one shot when we get that scheduled, which probably will be after the episode today. So that is it for us. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you on the next episode of Court of Swords. We are out for now. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.